everyday prepper here with a little thought experiment on prepping with very limited resources and funding. If you've watched my channel for a while, about a year and a half ago, you probably watched my $4 Snap Food Challenge where I showed how it's fairly easy to eat on $4 a day as long as you plan it out well and think in advance. I had a lot of negative comments and trolls, quite frankly, complaining that, well, you talk about buying in bulk, and what if I don't have access to that? What if I don't have the money to buy in bulk? Food's more expensive that way. So, well, that's true. I still made some points about planning ahead or pooling resources with other people. Maybe I can't afford a 20-pound bag of rice, but me and 4 other people may be able to, and then split the rice up and benefit from the savings. But, you know, forget thinking ahead and common sense. So I was in Dollar Tree the other day, just picking up some random things that were useful prepping items, which I'll talk about later. Had an extra $5 in my wallet and said, you know what, let me see what I can do for $5 for food prepping, just to round things out, just to see what I could do. Now, there's no tax on food in the state of South Carolina, unless you're in a restaurant, something like that, so $5 went a long way. Went for things that, of course, had a long shelf life and storage, whatnot, and anybody could use for the most part. That's going to be practical. So let's see how we can do for a measly $5 a week, or just $5 total. Might have just given something away there. So first of all, 2 pounds of rice, plain long grain white rice, standard staple for a large part of the world, South America, Asia, India, etc. Can't go wrong with rice. Stored properly, lasts indefinitely. Even if you're in a small apartment, don't have a lot of storage, have an extra bag of rice around. Not a bad idea. So that was $1 for 2 pounds, 3,000 calories in that bag right there. Not the cheapest rice in the world, but it's what I had from Dollar Tree for $1, so that's what we're going with. Of course, what goes with rice? Every prepper must have beans. Pinto beans, 2 pounds there for also $1. That's 2,600 calories, so this is starting to add up in a hurry. Let's get some of this out of the way before we run out of camera angle. Now, next, pretty standard option here, no surprises, plain white flour. That is a 2-pound bag there for $1. Now that's quite expensive actually. Going to Walmart and buying a 5-pound bag actually much cheaper per ounce or per pound. But again, $5 at Dollar Tree. That's 3,300 calories right there. So you can make some rice and some beans. You can make some flour tortillas here. Wrap it all up in some common flatbreads. So it's all lots of starches and carbs and such. Yeah, that's what most of the world survives on. About survival. So, anyway, next option, another obvious one I would say for $1, 16 ounces, pound of rolled oats. These are quick oats, don't remember, Mom brand or something like that. Never heard of them before. It's what Dollar Tree had, so whatever. Total that's 1,650 calories, but again, it's only 1 pound. So there's your breakfast, a little bit of cinnamon, that type stuff, maybe some sugar, you know, whatever you've got laying around in your seasonings. Call it good. Now the last one I got for the $5 might strike you as a little odd. You might say this might come in a different category, but I'd say overall to round us out, it's probably a must-have. It's cooking oil. Plain old vegetable oil, soybean oil for $1, 16 ounces of that. You gotta have oil in your diet. It's necessary, and this is what we had for $1. This gives us protein, carbs, fat, etc. So it may not be a perfectly balanced diet as far as vitamins and other nutrients in it. It's got the basics covered, okay? Now, a lot of people don't consider cooking oil in their preps. It's got to be there to a certain extent. Certainly it doesn't store as long as our other 4 items, but you use this up and rotate it, you're good to go. Overall, the oil has 3,840 calories. Now, what's interesting is if you do the math on the 32 servings of this, it comes off almost exactly to a week's worth of total fat recommendation by your daily recommended values. So, just over 7 days worth. So, actually, this little bottle is a good gauge of how much oil you should probably be cooking with. If you can ration that out for a week, you're probably doing it right. Again, pair this with your all-purpose flour for some tortillas or pita breads, those types of things. If you've got some extra cooking goods around, you know, seasonings and baking products, you're good to go here, okay? This is not perfect. Now, if I was at Dollar Tree, I also looked around if I had wanted to splurge on an extra $7 for all of this. Well, hold on, let me back up. Total calorie count for all that we have here, 14,390 calories divided by 2,000 calories a day. That's 7.195 days worth of food. So for $5, there's a week's worth of food No bulk purchases, no 50-pound bags or 25-pound bags, no major stores or chains to buy things in bulk. Just my little old Dollar Tree here in town. So there, a week's worth of food. You say, well, who else do we eat this every week? You don't have to. This could be backup. This could be your food storage for if you run out of cash or the kids are eating you out of house and home. My teenage patients that are eating parents out of house and home, I tell them, give them rice and beans. That's extra. Give them their standard meal, standard portions, and then give them rice and beans to fill them out. Or some oatmeal, something like that. If you're hungry, you can always have some more. We'll buy more rice, beans, and oatmeal. No problem. So 7 days of food, $5 covers the basics. You spend a couple more dollars, go out and heaven forbid buy some eggs for a couple bucks. There's your more protein, maybe some chicken thigh quarter or something like that, and you're good to go. Now, if you wanted to really splurge for some treats at Dollar Tree for $1, get yourself some peanut butter. Not a whole lot. I think it's 10 ounces. Yeah, 10 ounces, 1,620 calories. It's creamy. It's actually quite good. And if you really go long-term storage or longer term, this Gosner whole milk. Don't get the 1% of 2%. You want the calories here. The stuff lasts for about 18 months, and it's good for about 14 days once you open it and put it in the fridge. Good luck finding other milk for that. It's $4 a gallon. That is more expensive than a store-bought gallon of milk around here locally, but I can't ever find milk that's going to last me for 14 days at the store that's already cold. So that's another 600 calories. All this added together, that's 16,610 calories, or 8.3 days for $7. So people talk about food being expensive. No, it's not really if you actually have some common sense. Sadly, a lot of people don't. So I'm just showing you guys what we can do here. Just a little thought experiment for folks who can't buy in bulk or have very limited funding. Heck, I could find enough change on the street, etc., to pull together $5 a week for food storage, unless obviously would be necessary in the long term, because you're obviously not eating just this. So at your $4 per person per day on that Snap Food Challenge, hey, you can eat like a king. Just to put things in perspective. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Just thought it was an interesting little experiment to see what I could do at a dollar store where things aren't always as cheap as they appear. MD Prepper out.